I know his manager, and I've known him for a very long time, and I think you should explain the rest of it.
Yeah, no, it was like the latter. It's like he knew my manager for like a long time, and I've like been a fan of his work. So my manager one day just brought up like, oh, this dude Justin might come to the studio, and I was like, Justin like Chan, and then so I was super stoked to meet this guy, right? And then so we just hung out and talked about just random stuff, and we clicked that day, and that was when we're like, okay, let's maybe make something.
We had talked, me and Sean had talked about like, oh, it'd be really cool if you guys made a movie together. I was like, yeah, that would be cool. Well, let me at least just go talk to him, hang out. So I went to the studio and they were eating chocolate chip cookies.
The first like thought that I had when we first started filming was just this is a lot harder than music, and not only because I'm a musician and it comes more natural to me, but it's just like movies. You're working with a lot of it's a fully collaborative process, and it takes a lot of trust, and you have to like with music, if you want to make a whole album by yourself, you can technically, and with movies, it's like physically impossible, and and then and also just like you're working on this thing like for a whole for like 2 months, and that's what you think about every single day because you have to memorize your lines for like the next day, and like think about the big monologue for tomorrow and like stuff like that. So it's a lot more definitely intense, and it's it's something that like I feel like after this film I'm gonna want to like explore more of, even though it was a lot, but it's like I want to explore more of it and see kind of like how I do in other projects, and yeah, how I grow in the future.
Right before I shot this film, I was working on something else, and I needed something that I felt was just completely mine and an artistic expression. So this was refreshing, and I got to run the show. Like we got independent financing, so I didn't have masters, have any bosses. So we got to rehearse for like 2 months and shoot it the way that I felt it should be shot, and even casting wise, I didn't have to run it by anybody. I cast who I thought was right. But watching Brian grow during this process was really sort of a beautiful thing to see because this is his first film, and to for him to trust me and be vulnerable in that way, I thought was something really truly special, and ultimately shows, I think, on the screen.